So the focus for today is on solving for x in simple quadratic equations. In other words, when the coefficient of x squared is 1. So what is the first step? We have to factorize the quadratic equation by opening two brackets. Then we say, what are factors of x squared? In other words, what are two numbers such that if we multiply together, we get x squared? That will be x and x. Then we say, what are factors of the last term such that if we add or subtract, we get the coefficient of the middle term? So for that, we have to write down all the possible combinations. So for 6, we can have 6 times 1. We can also have 3 times 2. But in this case, the correct factors to use is 6 and 1. Now, the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. So if 6 is negative, in order for us to get a sum of -5, then it means the 1 has to be positive. Think of it. -6 plus 1, it's -5. Do you see that? And in addition, if you say -6 multiplied by 1, you still get -6. So indeed, 6 and 1 are a perfect combination to use. However, if you say 3 plus 2, do you see you still get 5? So I want to show you why is this one going to lead you to failure. So you'll still say x and x like that, and then you say 3 and 2 there. In order for you to get -5, both of your factors have to be negative. Do you see that? So that -3 minus 2, it's -5. But I want you to see, if you say -3 times -2, you get +6, which is clearly not that one. So you have to be careful. So what is the conclusion I can give you in order to make your life a walk in a park? You have to know that if the last term is negative, these factors must be opposite in signs. So meaning if the other one is positive, the other one has to be negative and vice versa. However, if your last term is positive, you can expect to have both of your factors which are positive or both of them are negative. That's the difference. Then after doing this, after factorizing, that is, you have to apply the zero factor law. So you say x minus 6 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. Then from this point, you transpose your 6 to the right. So then your x equals 6. And in this case, you transpose 1 to the right. So it becomes negative. It means x equals -1. And then you are happy in this case. So let's consider another example. In this case, you have something like this. It's x squared plus x minus 12, and everything is equal to 0. So once again, we still want to solve for x. We said the first step is to factorize by opening two brackets. Then we say factors of x squared, it's x and x. And here we say, what are factors of 12 such that if we add or subtract, we have to get +1, which is the coefficient of the middle term. Do you see that? So once again, we have to write all the possibilities for the last term. So for 12, we can have 12 and 1. We can have 4 and 3. We can also have 6 and 2. Well, here we see that 12 and 1, as well as 6 and 2, they have no possibility of giving us 1. So it means in this case, we must use 4 and 3. So you take 4, you put it there. You take 3, you put it there. So we said the bigger number always takes the sign of the middle term. And we said if the last term is negative, we said your factors must be opposite in signs. So that 4 minus 3, it's positive 1. And 4 times negative 3, it's negative 12. Do you see that? Then from this point, you apply your zero factor law. Therefore, it means your x equals negative 4 or your x equals positive 3. And then you should be happy once again. So let's try another example so that you get this thing. So this one says you have x squared minus 4x, which is equal to 21. And by the way, how do you recognize that an equation is quadratic? Well, it's when the first term has a square, the second term has an exponent of 1, and the last term does not have a variable. That's how you see. So the first thing we must do in this case is to write this equation in standard form. What is the standard form? This is the standard form. So it means we take 21 to the left. So then we get x squared minus 4x minus 21. And this is equal to 0. Then from this point, we have to factorize this. So we say factors of x squared. Once again, it's x and x. And then we say what are factors of 21 such that if we add or subtract, we get 4. So we have to have 21 times 1, which is not a possibility. We can also have 7 times 3. Do you see that? So if you say 7 minus 3, you get 4. So this is the perfect combination to use. So you'll have 7 here, you'll have a 3 there. Then you say the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. It's non-negotiable. And then we said because the last term is negative, well, this vector is bound to be positive. So that negative 7 plus 3, it's negative 4. And negative 7 times 3, it's negative 21. Then once again, you apply your zero factor law. So you say x minus 7 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. Then from this point, you say x equals 7 or x equals negative 3. And then you should be happy once again. Now, this one, they can give it to you maybe for 2 marks in the exam. They can say solve for x. So everything we've done so far can be 3 marks or 4, depending on the mood of the examiner. But in most cases, it's going to be 3 marks because they'll mark you for factorizing as well as for your answers. Yes. So let's say they give you something like this one in the exam. Let's use a different color to show that this is a different case. So they say you have x minus 2 into x plus 7, which is equal to 0. Do you see that? So if they give you something like this, you don't have to FOIL this again, because even after foiling, you'll still have to factorize and it will take you back to this. So instead, you just apply your zero factor law and then solve for x over and out. So this one can be 2 marks in the exam. Do you see that? Yes. So even in this case, so this is when they are playing with you. So here they say x, oh, it's actually 2x plus 3. And then you have 6 minus x. And this is equal to 0. So once again, you don't need to FOIL anything. You just apply your zero factor law. 2x plus 3 equals 0, or 6 minus x equals 0. Then from this point, you take -3 to the other side. So you get 2x equals -3. You divide both sides by 2. So it means your x will be -3 over 2. Oh, I'm running out of space now. Fine. Then for this one, you transpose your x. Then it means your x will just be equal to 6. And then you should be happy and fine with everything. So this should be the end of this video. I really hope it helps a lot. And thank you so much for watching.